Once again to my YouTube channel, this Reflex Image. In today's video, I'll be showing you how I came about this background, how I downloaded the background, how I changed the background. Here's the before of the picture, and here's the result we are trying to achieve. So I'll show you how to do it, how to download the picture, how to download the background free of charge. So you might be thinking that you need to buy background for you to be able to get nice backgrounds, but these days you can actually download them for free and also get high-end result pictures from it. So with no further ado, let's jump into action. So the first thing is for you to import your picture into Photoshop. So this is the picture I'll be using right now. So I'm going to drag it down to Photoshop. So it's going to load up in camera raw for us. So I took this picture about 2 years ago. So I just walked through my collection and I saw the picture there and I just decided to try out a simple manipulation on it. So what we're doing right now is we'll be bringing another backdrop which we're going to be downloading by ourselves, and I'll show you how to do the download also, and also the footer shadow, how we're going to retain the footer shadow also. So those are basically what we're going to do. So right now I've actually done the basic settings here. All I just need to do is to open my picture in Photoshop. Let's click on open. So once we're done, the first step we need to do is to retouch our picture. So I've actually introduced a subject to you guys, which is Evoto AI. That's what I use retouching on my pictures. So as you can see this picture right over here now. So I did the retouching in less than a single minute because it saves me time and actually a lot of energy when I have so many pictures to edit. So that's what I use in the retouching of the picture. And trust me, it's going to meet industrial standard. So once you're done with the retouching, the next thing for you to do is to crop your picture into the size you want. So the size I usually use is 4 by 5 into bracket 8 by 10. If I'm to click on my crop, you can click on C on your keyboard. It's going to take you there. As you can see, 4 by 5 into bracket 8 by 10. So many people too do tend to complain that whenever they crop their picture, it's going to reduce the quality of the picture. The reason is that if you have to open this up right now, most of you pick this one, 4.5 to bracket 8 by 10, 300 ppi. This is going to reduce the quality of your picture. It's going to reduce the size of your picture insignificantly. But use the one at the top, the one of 4 by 5 into bracket 8 by 10, click on it. And I'm going to do what? I'm going to expand my picture from the bottom. I'm going to expand it from the top so that I will have enough border room for my picture. And I'm going to do what? Adjust it because it's actually bending to the left hand side. So I'm going to do what? Rotate it a little bit so that it's going to seam perfectly on the floor. Then I'll click on my OK. So that being said, right now, the next thing I need to do is for me to remove my subject from the background. And this will be very, very easy and straightforward to do because the background is actually different from the subject itself, unlike the one that the complexion is going and the outfit she is wearing is going to match with the background. So this should be a very, very smooth sail. To do that, Control J on your keyboard, or if you're using a MacBook, Command J on it. So the next thing you need to do is to click your quick selection tool, which is right over here, and click on select subject. You wait for it to load up. This one now is going to do 90% of the settings for me, as you can see. It selects it almost perfectly for me. The only thing it's yet to select is just the earring alone, and because it's actually looking very, very whitish in nature. So the next thing I'll do, I'll pick my polygonal axis tool, which is right over here, and I'm going to scroll over the area I want to do what I want to add to the selection. So I'm going to scroll over it like this. As you can see, very, very simple and straightforward to do. And boom, we are done with our selection. The next thing we do right now is just to right click on it. I'll go to feather. Under feather, I'll be using 2.0 pixel. The reason why we do feather our picture is for our picture not to have a sharp edge so that it shouldn't look as if we change the background. So that it's going to blend in with the background we are trying to bring in. So 2.0, and I'm going to click on my OK. And I'll do what? I'll click on my marks. So what we just did right now is separated our background from the subject. But you won't know what we just did until you turn off your background layer. As you can see right now. If I'm to turn it on back right now, you see the background is still there. So the next thing you need to do is to go back to your background layer and duplicate it once more by clicking on Ctrl J. If you're using a MacBook, Command J. So what you need to do right now is to fill all this area up with the initial background color and to delete the subject from this new layer I just created right now. Hold your Ctrl key down and select your subject back. If you want to select the subject, make sure you click on the marks of where the subject is. Don't forget that. Then go to what? Go to layer, go to select, under select, go to modify, under modify, go to expand. So my fixed setting is 8 pixel and I'll click on my OK. So let me go back and show you what that does. Zoom in very well. So pay attention to this side of the picture. So once I go to the select, under select, I go to modify, I go to expand. Once I click on the 8 pixel and I click on OK, can you see what it did? It actually gives a little bit of space from the subject to the background. So whenever you want to fill that area up, it's not going to be that you are going to be selecting part of the outfit with it. So that's the reason why I do expand my picture. So that being said, right now I'm going to add all these areas to the selection, so it's going to fill everything up for me all together. I'll click on my rectangle marker tool and I'll make sure it's on addition. So I'm going to add from the top, I'm going to add from the left, I'm going to add from the right, and I'm going to do the same thing to the floor side also. So you can see right now. Next thing I just need to do is to right click on it and I'll go to fill. Under fill, I'll make sure my content aware is turned on and I'm clicking on OK. So we just have to wait for it to load up. So it's going to fill all this area up with the initial background color. This does like magic. It's going to do the job for you almost perfect as long as it has a nice area to sample from. So let's see what it's going to give us right now. And boom, this is what it did for us. It filled this area up with initial background color. So someone that did not see where we are doing the manipulation might not know the background is not this wide. So Ctrl D to deselect right now. The next thing I need to do is to actually blow out all these wrinkles on the background. So if there's a way to actually remove all this wrinkle using Evoto AI, it's going to remove everything and it's still going to retain the shadow. As you can see over here, it did that with 100% perfection, and just a single click is going to save you a lot of time. So assuming you just want to retouch your picture alone and just put in the background, you don't want to manipulate, you can just head over to Evoto and do everything there, including the color grading. As simple as that. But we want to manipulate, that's why we came back to Photoshop. So the next thing we need to do right now is to do what? Is to duplicate this our layer again, this our background layer by clicking on Ctrl J again. So we'll go to blur, filter, under filter we'll go to blur, then we'll go to Gaussian blur. So under Gaussian blur I'll be using 200 as my radius because that's the default one I use in blurring out background. So 200 and I'll click on OK. But you see the moment I did what? The moment I blur that area out, the shadow is no longer there. So I'm going to create a mask on it and I'll pick my normal brush. I'll make sure the color is on black. If it's on white, I'll change it to black. And I'm going to scroll over the area where I know the shadow was initially, which is there. As you can see, it did what? It returned back the shadow for us. That being said, right now, this is not what I actually need. I don't even need to blur out this background. But assuming I don't later want to do any manipulation on my picture, probably I just want to export my picture that way. That's the reason why I did what? I did this blurring out of background. So you might later decide that the manipulation is not worth it. So that being said, right now, the next thing we need to do is to download our background. So this background, when I was editing this picture, that was when I went over to the site to check out the background. So the site is called Pinterest, pinterest.com. As you can see, the background is over here. So there are tons of backgrounds you can actually generate from here. Though I did not search, I did not input any prompts to generate background. There are so many ways to generate backgrounds. You can use AI and prompts, which I dropped some video. So scroll through my channel, you're going to see some videos there that will show you how to generate prompts to do what? To create background. But this is just one of the simplest ways. Anybody can do this. Don't just head over to Pinterest, search for what you want. So I already have some frequent search on my page. That's the reason why whenever I just log into Pinterest, they're going to give me so many options for me to choose from. Just like these options as you can see over here. And these are great backgrounds, especially when it comes to maternity shoot and stuff. As you can see, there are tons of them over here, which you can actually use to your own liking. So I'll just select the one I want, which is the first one. For me to download it, I'll just click on the three dot over here and I'm going to click on download. Free of charge, you don't have to pay a dime for it. Though the picture won't come at 100% quality, but trust me, it's going to work out for whatever I want to use it for. So let's say I'm done with the download right now. Next thing I just need to do is to go to my file manager where the background is located. I'm going to drag it into my Photoshop. So it's under my download. This is the background over here. So I'll just need to do what? Drag it down to my Photoshop and wait for it to load up. Then I'm going to expand it till it's going to fill the entire area I want it to be. I want it to be around this way. But the footer is not showing very well. And I'm going to expand the footer also a little bit so that it's going to be as if she's standing on it, as if she's not standing on it. So I'm going to do that and I'm going to click on my OK key. As you can see right now. Does it seem as if she's standing on it? Yes, it seems that way. And that's what we want to try to achieve right now. Now we're done with that. The next thing we need to do is, as you can see, the footer shadow is no longer there again. And without the footer shadow right now, it's going to look as if she's floating on there. And to do that, and I know this is one of the issues that people do have when it comes to manipulation, retaining the footer shadow. So let me show you the perfect way to do that right now on any background as long as you're manipulating. So let me turn off these two background layer right now. And this one over here, which is the one that has the shadow initially, I'm going to duplicate it once more. And I'm going to drag it above the background layer I just brought in. So let's turn everything back right now. So the one I drag above right now, which is the one that contains the shadow, I'll change the blend mode from normal to multiply. Boom. Can you see what it does? If I'm to zoom in very well right now, you can see my shadow is now there. But there's an issue with the shadow right now. It's not that thick enough. So to make it very, very thick, Control L on it. Then under the light side, drag it down. Under the dark side, drag it up. So that it's going to intensify the shadow very well for you. As you can see right now. So my shadow is there and it's looking very, very nice also. And click on OK. The next thing you need to do right now is for you to do what? Control U on what you just brought in, and under the saturation, desaturate it 100%. So if I had to zoom in now, can you see that the shadow is there now? And it's looking very, very real. But what it does right now is that there are still some particles that is left on the background, which are all these things there. It also came with the shadow. So we are going to brush that off right now. To do that, create a mask on what you just brought in, which is the, what should I call it? The shadow layer. So do what? Pick your brush, make sure the color is on black, and scroll over the area you don't want those remnant of stuff to be. Those one that is distracting our picture. And boom, our picture is ready to go. The shadow is there, everything is looking nice already. Very, very simple and straightforward. The next thing you just need to do is to color grade and end your manipulation there. So I'll just be using one of my color grading lots. If you're interested in buying it, just head over to my store and go and make purchase today. And it's going to help you when you come to color grading. So I'll click on the uppermost layer and I'm going to go to my adjustment layer. I'll click on color lookup. Under color lookup, I'm going to click on load 3D lots. Then I'll scroll down to whatever lot I want to use. Though my main lot is not here, I'll just pick one out of these right now. Which one should I pick right now? Okay, let me use this. But right now, it's not just affecting my picture alone, it's affecting both my picture and the background. Then I'll just do what? I'll just click on the max icon over here, and you're going to do what? Directly apply just on the image alone. So I just maxed it for the image alone. It's not going to affect my background. But the color is too much on my liking. Under the saturation, under the opacity, I'm just going to drag it down. And boom. We're able to create this manipulation very, very easy and straightforward, stress-free. And you can also do that. So if this video helped one way or another, don't forget to drop a like. Someone out there might be in need of this video. See you guys for my next video tutorial. Reflex out.